Howdy, and welcome to Game Changer, brought to you by connorscoaching.com. If you like what we bring, take a moment to log into YouTube, like and subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to ring that bell for notifications. And leave a comment when the video is done to help us grow. Together, we can help create an inspired community that shares topics about positivity, coaching, personal development, mindset, emotional awareness, emotional intelligence. So many topics that we want to cover here. And we go live every Wednesday at 3:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's usually me, but on the second and fourth Wednesdays of the month, I bring on a guest to talk about their work and their passions. Together, let's get inspired. My name is Daniel Connor, and I'm the owner of Connor's Coaching. I'm a certified professional coach, and I'm a proud member of the International Coaching Federation. Not every coach is a member, but those who do so because of the strong ethics that the International Coaching Federation promotes. And you can hire me when you are ready to change your perspective on life and finally get unstuck and to learn those practical habits that transform your life so that you can live a happier, more fulfilling, and exciting life to boost your leadership potential and your communication skills. And ultimately, my goal, every client looks in the mirror and sees the very best version of themselves reflected back. We do that one change at a time, over time. So let's get inspired. We're talking about celebrating success today. And we are going to go a little bit into the science, the neuroscience in this episode. One of my very favorite topics, dopamine, is this is my near and dear to my heart. I am not a scientist. I am a fanboy, but I look at this as practical applied neuroscience. So this is practical life hacks that use neuroscience to take advantage of it and make real life gains from it. So let's talk about the typical goal setting that we go through whenever we set our sights on something. Typically, we set a goal, set a target. We achieve that target, however that is. We might have to set medium goals or mid goals, and, it's not usually an easy thing, right? But then we get to the end, we finish that goal, and we immediately pick a new one. Now, keep that in mind. That's the typical. That's what we've learned to do in society. And I'm sure you already know that's not ideal. People have already been talking about this, right? That's not new. But I want to talk about dopamine. And I'm going to talk about it in my language. Again, I'm not a scientist. I'm a fanboy. I love the neuroscience. So we're going to talk about dopamine here. And basically, dopamine has two functions. The first, your body uses dopamine like echolocation for goal setting. It's like sonar. The closer you get, the faster and bigger it pings. So as you get closer to that dopamine, as you get closer to that goal, the dopamine response gets bigger and bigger. And dopamine, in case you didn't know, is the hormone that makes you feel euphoric. It's a good feeling. It feels excitement. It feels like happiness. It feels like joy. It feels like exuberance. It's all good things. It feels very good when you have a lot of dopamine in your body. And it's relative to how little dopamine you had in your body beforehand. So, in other words, the less dopamine you have, the more you have all of a sudden, the bigger that euphoria feels. Okay. So if you already feel pretty happy and you reach heights, you're not going to feel as much because you already were full on dopamine. So the first way your body uses it is as a reward mechanism to reward that getting close to the goal. The second way that your body uses dopamine, and this is the critical one, is in learning and development. Your body uses dopamine to help you form neural connections and solidify habit behavior. Basically, your mind recognizes behavior that it rewarded, and then it makes sure you can repeat that behavior. Just let that sink in for a second. You quit smoking. Your body's really proud of you. It wants to help you solidify that behavior. So it rewards you. So there you have it. It's as simple as that. If you want to make sustainable progress towards a better version of yourself, you have to let your body take time to go through its natural processes and feel its efforts towards its goals before you move on to the next one. That's why celebrating your successes is so important. You can't just move from one goal to another immediately after success and expect to make vast improvements in your life. That's just not how you were built. It's not how you were designed. So if we were looking at that typical grind, again, that typical grind was we set a goal, we achieve it, and then we immediately set the next goal. Instead, we need to add a step. We need to set a goal, achieve the goal, and then pause to reflect and recognize success. And then we can pick a new goal. So let's talk for a moment about what recognizing success looks like, because we talk about celebration. And celebration sounds like a party. It sounds like food. It sounds like a lot of stuff. In fact, this isn't the first time I've mentioned this topic. We've talked about goal setting before. This is a kind of a reoccurring theme for me. I love goal setting. I love pointing out the need to celebrate success. I love talking about the dopamine loop. It's things I've talked about before. My father-in-law's heard me talk about this, and he said, I followed your advice, Daniel. I did this thing, and then I went out and I got gelato. And I was proud of him for doing that, but if you reward your system with more things that are going to promote more dopamine, you might actually be undermining your body's efforts. So if you give yourself a reward that also spikes your dopamine, like food, like presents, like anything you can be excited about or feel euphoria about in and of itself, that isn't going to help you create that second half of the dopamine loop. So when we're talking about celebrating success, we're not talking about celebrating it with partying. We're not talking about celebrating it with tooting your horn or, well, tooting your horn might be okay, but generally speaking, like playing music, rewarding with food, rewarding with presents, rewarding with partying, rewarding with dancing, even rewarding with exercise. These things all raise your dopamine levels, and your body can actually get overwhelmed with dopamine, and it can lower your ability to actually feel the effects of dopamine. Remember, if you're already feeling high levels of dopamine, the amount of dopamine that you're going to feel from success is lessened. So instead, we need to take a mindful minute. My approach is to use a technique of box breathing. We talked about box breathing, I think, 2 episodes ago. Just really basically, box breathing is a way of counting while you breathe in order to just kind of calm your mind and kind of make your mind peaceful. I add a mental step to this, but box breathing is breathing in for 4 seconds, holding for 4 seconds, breathing out for 4 seconds, and then pausing for 4 seconds before repeating. And you do that about 2 to 3 times. It helps you just calm your mind and get centered. When I do this for celebrating success, I focus on the effort that I put into getting that success because that's the part that I need to be able to repeat. So when I'm breathing in, I focus on the effort I put into the project. When I'm holding it, I feel that effort filling me up. I imagine it feeling like light filling my body. Okay. And then when I let it go, I let go of that effort. It feels actually kind of good at that point. Um, and then I let myself feel empty at the bottom of that breath. So much of the time, we fill our lives, everything, the world around us, with so much noise and feeling and thought. Having that emptiness is so rewarding. For me, that's the reward. And that's not a reward, I think, that prompts a dopamine response. But it does probably reduce my cortisol level or my experience of stress. So when we're doing this, I'll just do an example. So every day for the show, or every day, every Wednesday when I do this live show, I do this box breathing technique to help center myself before going live. I breathe in all of the effort that I put into the show, that particular show. I hold it, I imagine all of that effort, and then I let go of all that effort so that I can leave room for whatever is to come. Success, failure, whatever happens. I'm not in control of that stuff. And by the way, when we're setting goals, if I could just, I'm a coach. I don't give advice, but I'm gonna break that for just 1 second and say, stop setting your goals around the objective, around the outcome. Start setting your goals around the effort that you put in to get that outcome. So social media is a great example. You're not posting on social media for the like. You're not posting on social media for the follow. You're not posting on social media for people to respond to you or follow up with you. You're posting on social media. That's the effort. And you can't get rewarded without that effort. You can't get rewarded without making that good grammar or captivating or interesting or important, right? So reward the behavior that are going to get the results that you want, but focus on the behavior, focus on the input. And the reason for that is that the other things are outside of your control, and you will feel more satisfied in life in general because you will be more successful at getting those things. You will be less successful at getting the things you can't control. That's like waiting to win the lottery and hinging your entire life happiness on winning the lottery. So that was not something I planned on talking about today, but this is live and authentic, and you get the real me today. So we were talking about box breathing. So I when I'm doing the show every day I do the show every day on Wednesdays before I do the show, I do this breathing exercise, breathing in all the effort, holding it in, feeling like this light, letting it go, and letting that emptiness be my reward. And then I repeat it until my mind feels still, until I believe it. That takes a little bit more time if you're just getting started on this. Now, when you're looking at your life goals, I want you to think, when is the next time you're going to have a chance to celebrate success? What are the habits that you're creating right now that you want to enforce, that you want to make long-term behaviors? By the way, this isn't just about celebrating your success. We don't use the word failure. That's a word that's used when we are trying to beat ourselves up. I did that earlier today. But Another way of looking at that is a lesson that we learned. So when you're trying to celebrate a lesson that you learned, when you're doing the breathing exercise, instead of just breathing in the effort, breathe in that effort, but also breathe in the lesson that you want to carry forward. So I put all of this effort into trying to quit smoking, and I really need to figure out a better way to do it because I had a really hard time when I was hanging out with friends that smoke, as an example. So my lesson learned is I need to find a way to interact with my friends that doesn't involve me smoking with them. And the lesson that you're going to focus on there is the one that you're choosing to walk away with. So if you want help in making your long-term goals true, success, and sustainable, if you're ready to hire a coach, I encourage you to go to my website. You can find a link for it in the description for this video. It's connerscoaching.com. That's CONNERS coaching.com. It's all one word. And I'd love to have a conversation with you. It's free. It's 1 hour long, and we can talk about what your coaching goals are and whether coaching is a good fit for your specific needs. Thank you so much for being here, for watching me today, for being a part of a channel. And since you stuck around with us for this long, do take a moment to log into YouTube, subscribe to our channel, and like the video. And also leave a comment about the thing that you enjoyed most about this episode or what you got inspired about. Next week, we are skipping our regular episode due to the US holiday that week. It's Thanksgiving here in the US. And despite it just being a 1 day a year holiday, we will be coming back the next week to talk about Thanksgiving, because it's not just a seasonal attitude of gratitude. We need to have an attitude of gratitude all year round. So we're going to talk about that attitude. And yeah, we're going to do that after the Thanksgiving holiday. So I will be grateful to see you then. See what I did there? Okay. Well, short stream today, but I will